details on this. It's not important, but it's more advanced. Again, I talked about this the other day, but every jiu-jitsu, every submission is a structure. The tighter the structure, the less force I have to put into it. So there's a structure and the force that goes in. If the force is not directly into it, it's not effective. If the structure has holes or it's weak, it's not effective. So if I'm here and I've got a lot of space here, then there's a lot of space for the force to bleed out, right? Or I'm pushing down maybe on his chest a little bit. See the force as well. Okay. So we're going to go over one thing that happens again. Really focus on extending that wrist bone into his neck. Often you can just get the tap just by extending the wrist. Okay, but sometimes maybe you couldn't get the exact grip you want. Your elbow goes all the way to the ground, and he's not tapping. Okay, so I'm going to show you the way I do it. So often you will see people put here and then open the elbow, and it works. But this is weak. Okay, I'm going to move my whole body with the elbow. So we get here, I go to the ground, it's not working. Look, my whole body moves. I'm not just pushing my elbow. So the elbow is sliding up around his head at the same time. So I go all the way to the ground, it's not working. Then I go this way. Does it make sense? Okay, so this often when you're fighting, that's really all you can get. Sometimes that's all you can get. I'm not as deep as I want. I go here, and then I move. Two things. I'm going to show you one more technique that I use. It's not nice, okay, but it works. But also think, a lot of times this choke, I've put more people to sleep with this choke than any other choke, and not on purpose, right? Because they'll be in it for 20, 30 seconds, right? Because I don't have it quite exactly right. But the darkness is coming like this, slowly. So what happens is, they panic, they can't turn into me so much, so they roll away for a second, and it gets tighter. Then they panic and try to turn into me, and that's when they go to sleep. So what I mean is, if you're off just a little bit, don't freak out and think you have to immediately adjust, especially with a choke where I'm using my weight on top. Okay, I can stay here all day. Okay, as Dave Camarillo said one time, he'll starve to death before he escapes, so you might as well choke him the whole time. This one, don't do it too much in class. There's two kinds of people you can do this move with. People you're very good friends with, you've been training partners for a while, or people who are complete jerks. People that you just generally kind of train with, don't do this to. But I get here, I go here sometimes and he turns his head. This is the other reason I don't try to come from this side. He turns his head, now I'm pushing on his neck. So, but I go here, he turns his head, I bring my knee up, and I push his face. And then I adjust it back. And then we're good. Okay. I show you that not so much for the technique, as I want you guys to always understand that when you're close to something and it gives you problems, often people's instinct is to just back out completely, try something completely new. You're starting to do a stack pass, he blocks you. I'm going to jump back, try to do a Toriano. Completely different pass, move, versus, well, okay, he's put this one little block in my way. What's the most efficient way to get around this little block? Does that make sense? Every time I do a big change, it gives him a lot of room to move. Okay, so I show you this. You go for this kind of choke, he'll defend. You'll find different ways. Here, I use this one a lot. He's blocking with this arm. No, on my arm. I'll pin his arm, put my leg over it, and then go back. Okay, so there's all sorts of, we talked about puzzles, right? I'll stay in the game. I'll fight in the little puzzle there. But does anybody have any questions? Stack pass, Senkilo, butcher choke. Okay. You can do this choke many positions on top. Okay. All right, let's line up. Next slide's right.